Hello. Good evening everyone. Welcome to Daily News Analysis by Tathastu ICS. ठीक है. So today we are going to see certain topics which is important for us in the UPSC preparation. ठीक है. So today it is like kind of 6 articles for the day. We are just going to see one by one. You will get this PDF in the description box in 2 minutes, and also you will get this PDF in the Telegram channel. For that you have to scan this QR code and join the channel. ठीक है. चलिए. So let's see the topic. ठीक है. First one is about PM's Norway visit. ठीक है. It has been expected. So certain things, okay, regarding the third Nordic summit also, okay, India-Nordic summit, and also we are just going to expect the agenda, the talks between India and Norway related to some technology or the strategic partnership that we are going to have it. ठीक है. ठीक है. Then it is going to be helpful for us in GS 2, the foreign policy and the international relations. ठीक है, where we are going to have a talk, and also we are going to have an interaction with the Nordic, one of the Nordic country. Okay, so it is important for us. If you see why Nordic countries are important for us, for time being, because of this West Asian conflict and everything. ठीक है. So the activeness of the war kind of a situations, ठीक है, when it, be it Russia, Ukraine, okay, or the Central Asian conflict, or the West Asian conflict and everything. So it is somewhere or the other, it is impulsing us like you have to focus on different diversification of your resources and also the trade routes, right? So for that, in that cases we are going to see how important for us. Okay. Then the second one is about the increase in the number of Supreme Court judges. Basically this is very important for us in the GS2 paper when it comes to the polity. The maybe you can see why. Okay, there was little extra classes, so that's why it was happened. Okay. So coming back to the topic, the Supreme Court judge strength have been increased. Okay, so generally it shows the coordinates of whom, the executive and also the judiciary. So we are going to see, generally we used to say the separation of powers. They will be having 3 different chambers, which is legislative, executive and the judiciary, right? So here the executive and the judiciary, how they coordinately worked together to increase the number of judges, that we are going to see. Just give us 2 minutes, it will be uploaded in the description box. Okay? Thank you. The third one is about the Ebola outbreak in Congo. See, whenever the disease have been outbreak, or if there is any spread of diseases internationally, we have to focus on the parasite or the agent which causes this diseases, whether it is viral or any parasital or any bacterial. Okay? So most probably viral diseases will be spread over the countries, and it will be having a lot of destructive concerns. Okay? So that we have to keep that in mind. And here WHO have not created as a identified as a pandemic for Ebola for time being. Okay? So we will be seeing why it is not being a pandemic right now, and why we have to be very cautious about this Ebola spread in Congo, especially in Congo. And we are going to see what is the cause, what is the agents, what is the factors that always influences like this kind of Ebola outbreak or a disease outbreak in Congo, especially in the region. Okay? Then it is going to be important for us in the GS3 paper. Okay, the science and tech part, and also the diseases part. Okay? Then the fourth one is about the diversification. Again it is about, okay, something is related to this first topic, Norway visit. Okay? Along with that, what we are going to see, like why it is important for India to look into Arctic region and also the Nordic countries. Okay? What is the significance there, and what we are going to foresee where we have to focus on the relationship, rather than like earlier it was like climate and technology, green technology based partnership, but now from there we have to move towards more of a strategic partnership. Okay? So the trade and also mostly the energy security, okay, the maritime security, everything is based upon that. Okay? So we are going to see the diversification in that case. Okay? So it will be important for us in GS3. Basically it is a way to expand our economy and also many other relations. Okay, so when it comes to the economical terms, it is GS3, and otherwise it is majorly impacting on us in GS2 paper, in the IR part. Then the fifth one is about the democracy. This editorial basically about how the opposition party is very important for a democracy, and how can the democracy can be diluted when there is no free and fair elections. Free and fair elections in the sense, here they are asking about the choices for the voters. Okay, so the if there is no proper opposition, or if there is no the second choice, okay, the alternative, so that will not be giving the true essence of democracy. So that is what been discussed in this article. We are going to see it in the GS2 perspective. Okay, that's the sixth one is about the Oslo summit. Okay, again we are going to see what is Oslo summit and what is the importance of it. Okay, so these are the topics for the day. You might be find some changes in the PDF, that was due to some last minute things. So this will be fixed and you will be getting the PDF. Okay, so the first one we are going to see about is the trade, energy and the global conflicts at top of agenda. So these three are the things that is going to be a major focus on this meeting. Okay, so if you see, first let us understand what is Nordic countries. Okay, Nordic is nothing but a very simple term when it is generally said as northern countries. Okay, those countries generally present in the northern area, so they were called Nordic countries. Okay, so that is a major thing about the Nordic countries, and we have the countries like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Ireland, okay, Iceland and also Finland. So these are the basic Nordic countries. Okay, so now the problem here is when it comes to the trade, if you see the problem in the West Asia, okay, so because of that we have lost the prominent, there is a huge disruption in the supply chain, and we have lost a prominent energy security route, right? So when it comes to oil, natural gas, or be it fertilizers for India, it have been traveled through that particular Strait of Hormuz, which has been disrupted right now, and we are facing certain issues. So it is about expanding our resources, which is diversification, first thing. Okay, so the trade is about not only the energy or something. Okay, okay, so other than that, okay, we are just going to see how we are going to have a dialogues or the discussion for the critical minerals and also rare earth materials, and also even the technology based shipments. Okay, we are going to learn shipments, how to build ships basically to avoid preferably the ice break ships, okay, that mechanism, and along with that we are going to have certain ideas, okay, about the semiconductors. We have large population, right? So we have a large population, and along with that we are going to we are giving the skilled people, and we are going to get the technology being used. Okay, so that is what the discussion is going to be basically when it comes to the trade and everything. Energy we have talked about, right? So now from climate things we are just going towards a strategic partnership, where our trade and the energy, which we have discussed, like the Arctic region and the Nordic regions, they have huge resources of critical minerals and also rare earth minerals. Apart from that, they have a huge number of oil and different natural gas resources. So that we are going to talk about. Okay, and the third one about the global conflicts, which made, see, if you see in the recent days, the NATO have been expanded to Norway and Sweden as well. So the Ukraine and the Russian war is somewhere or the other creating a security challenges, right? So when Norway and Sweden have been having a collaboration, or they have joined the NATO, so that will be creating a problem in the region where the Russia may be extending its hands towards those area. So to neutralize that also, because we are a good friend of Russia, right, and we have a good terms also with Russia, and now by diversifying we can achieve two things. One is like the neutrality between Norway and the Russia, and also the second thing is we will be having the extended market. So that is what the major thing about this visit. So if you see the importance for India, why we need this interaction with Norway. First one is strategic partnership, where we will be learning certain mechanisms, the undersea cables, okay, the logistics things, okay. Along with that, we will be having the strategic importance in the global forum, okay. So the third Nordic summit will be helping us to have a better role in the leadership when it comes to the global power, okay. So the energy focused and also technology driven, we are going to take the technology of semiconductors, silicons, okay, all these are one of the factors here, okay. And the geopolitical, which is creating the which is indicating the global conflicts, where we can have a diversified things, okay. Then what we are going to take it from the technology based, one is offshore energy, okay, and the second thing is about the green shipping and the hydrogen technology and also the maritime infrastructure from the Norway country, okay. So these are the things that we are going to focus basically. So the agenda basically is energy security, second one is about the trade, the technology collaboration, where we have talked about the hydrogen technology and also maritime infrastructure. Third Nordic summit, where we will be having the leadership advantage, okay. We have been in the observer state, but eventually we will be having a opportunity, okay. So this is what majorly important from us in this article. Just read about it, and if you have any doubt, please let me know, okay. Okay, so once it is happening, then we will be having a brief discussion like what and all have been, because it is an estimation, okay, what all are about to we are going to discuss, and these are the things that we are going to focus on, okay. So once the summit is done, then we will be seeing, okay. Then the next one is about with the ordinance, Supreme Court judge strength up from 33 to 37. So initially it was 34. How it is 34? It is basically 33 judges, okay, plus 1 Chief Justice of India. Now it have been moved to total 38, where 37 judges and, okay, plus 1 Chief Justice of India will be there. So in total we are having 38, where 37 judges have been appointed, okay. So now if you see the word ordinance, why it is ordinance? Because now the parliament is not in the operation like session, right? So what happened, considering the pending of the cases, our honorable president, okay, Draupadi Murmu, she have given an ordinance to increase the the number of judges, okay. Whenever it is happening, it will be happening. The increase of number of judges will be happening in two ways. One is from the executive side, and also other thing is from the ordinance, okay. So whenever it is needed, it will be like always made in two concerns. One is basically what the ordinance been given, or else from the executive system, okay. So that is what the major thing here. So they have given you the increase in this. So okay, from we have started during our republic time, it was like 7, and now we have reached till 37, okay. So this shows the amendment, okay, the amendment of the Supreme Court judges. The number of judges is also important when the like along with the time we have to increase the number of judges also for particular things to have a efficient justice provided, okay. So that is what the major thing. So if you see who gives the authority, like in constitution, where does we have it, okay. So the article 123 says that the ordinance by president can be made, okay. So there will be alteration in the number of judges for increasing, and also the Supreme Court, okay, the Supreme Court amendment, the number of judges, okay, Ordinance Act 2026, under the section of 2, okay, of Supreme Court number of judges Act 1956, it have been increased, and also the parliament has to give its approval within the 6 weeks of its sitting, okay. So once the parliament has started to sit, now they have the time period of 6 weeks, within that they have to give the approval. Okay. So this is what the major thing here. So you have to read about Article 123 and 124 and also the Supreme Court Number of Judges Act 1956. Okay. So if you have any other doubt, please let me know. I have told you like based upon two incidences when the parliament is not sitting at that time, if it is necessary, they will be giving, the president will be giving the ordinance. Okay. And clear till now? Is there is any doubt? Let me check. Okay. Okay. I think there is no doubt, right? Take it. Okay. So if you see this, so if you see the current backlog is over 93,000 cases. So somewhere or the other we were able to see the population ratio along with the judiciary is minimal. In the general discussion, okay, if you see the developed countries, they have thank you Shainu, it is clear, right? So in generally the developed countries will be having the judges, number of judges based upon the population ratio, but when it comes to India's perspective, it is little less. Okay, our population is huge and the proportion of the judges are very less in the ratio. So that we have to focus, and based upon that timely we are going to change the number of judges based upon what? The Supreme Court Number of Judges Amendment Act 1956. Okay. Then Supreme Court Number of Judges Act 1956, and we have amended it so that through an ordinance in 2026 we got the number of 37 judges. Okay. Now coming to Ebola. So Ebola outbreak in Congo is a global emergency, says WHO. Now see, any if there is any diseases, there will be three different types of its outbreak. Okay, one is endemic, epidemic and also pandemic. Pandemic we all know, like it is like completely it will be traveling through internationally and the countries will be affected globally. Okay, so it will be like it will be outbreak from one place, but due to travel or some other instances we will be having extended attack of or the spread of the diseases. Okay, so that is what the major thing. So right now WHO have not said that Ebola's outbreak for time being is not a pandemic. It is yet to be said. Okay, so for pandemic the problem here is there is a lot of casualties. Now we are going to just see certain things about this what Ebola. Okay, first thing, who will be considering this diseases or the spread of diseases as a pandemic or something? Who will be giving that identification? Generally the public health emergency of international concern. Okay, basically PHEIC. Okay, and the WHO they will be giving this. Okay, so it has not been mentioned as a pandemic yet, so keep that in mind. And there is the WHO have clearly mentioned the international border should not be closed because of this, because we have to collaborate and we have to cooperate with each other for time being, and we have to move. So for this, what is happening in India? So the screening, okay, the disease screening, and also the like just like how in COVID times we used to check the temperature, right? And along with that we will be having some like the swab test and everything. So same kind of things have been checked in the airports and the wherever the international borders are being opened. Okay, so there we are having the checks, so we don't want to worry about it. Whenever we have found something like the Ebola patients or something, we will be having what? We will be checking their complete body fluids like blood and everything. We will get to know that, and temperature check will be there. Along with that we would be able to understand, like we can give them the treatment. Okay, whenever where there is a disease, the early identification and the early treatment will be giving them what? The early prevention. Okay, so that is what the major thing. Then so coming back to Ebola, it is about a viral disease, a virus that causes, okay, and also it is fatal. Fatal is something if you are not giving the proper treatment or any vaccine, then eventually that will be giving what? It will be giving the like end of the day there will be loss of life, okay, the deaths will be happening, so that is fatal. Okay. So the spread through bodily fluids, so this is a major for Ebola. If you are trying to focus on the study and everything, the major thing is like how it transmits through body fluids. So body fluids is like blood, okay, vomit, okay, and also your saliva, sweat, and also your semen. Okay. So through these kind of things the Ebola virus will be transmitted to another person. So that is what the body that is what the spread through bodily vitals. Okay. So for this what we have to do is we should be having a proper screening, and also we should give them a vaccine. Okay. So the problem here is at least we have to prevent the communication, right, communication of the diseases or communication of the people, so that they will not be having like the the commutation will not be happening. Okay. So the virus that actually causes this Ebola virus is right now a different variant of the virus, which is Bundibugyo virus. Okay. So okay, so it is not the first time that has been happening because of this virus, but it is a rare strain of Ebola. Okay. So this virus is causing now the outbreak, and there is no approved vaccines, and also there is no specific treatment that have been approved by the WHO or any other health things. Okay. So if you see, okay, why it is very deadly and how it has been spreaded. So the major thing is like why in Congo, why it has been spreading very frequently. One is like the dense forest cover in the Congo. Okay, it is a tropical. Good evening, Santosh. Okay. So the dense forest cover of the tropical trees, where the temperature, the moisture, the humidity, and also the availability of the food for those viruses are huge, right? So they will be having huge opportunity to grow and multiple, right? So that is one of a thing where when there is a dense forest cover, especially when it comes to tropical, you will be having the temperature will be high, right, and also you will be having lots of huge varieties of vegetation. So you will be having the host also there, right, and you will also be having the virus will be having like the nutrition that needed, right, and also the major thing about here is the temperature, the humidity and the moisture that it is present in the tropical forest. So that is a major thing that is always being supportive to this outbreak of viral diseases. First thing. Second thing is about the human animal interaction. If you see in Congo, generally the forest covers are being the major economy, right, and along with that, so people who are interacting with the forest cover and also directly dealing with the animals, the intake of the animals in the wild area, so all these things are happening, giving the outbreak. Okay. And the third one is about healthcare system, where they have to focus on improving the infrastructure. Okay. Okay, improving the infrastructure, where the healthcare system, like generally there is no proper vaccine for Ebola, right? So that one, and also along with that we have to focus on the healthcare systems, like small the clinics also, where our primary healthcare centers will be coming into the role. So the initial screening, initial identification will be helping in the very early treatment, and that will be stopping the huge outcome like outbreak, right? So that is what the thing. And when it comes to the next one, it is about the conflict zones, because the stability, the political stability in Congo, okay, the Republic of Congo and everything, it is kind of unbalanced one, right? So there will be always a conflict. So the like people will be shooting, okay, randomly the military coups will be shooting the people, or else the piracy there, like if you see in Congo regions and everywhere, like the military coup is high, and because of the poverty, okay, people fight and they will be indulging in the illegal activities. So when there is a gang war or something, when there is a different gunshots and everything, the spread of blood, okay. So if one person is affected and if it is that person have been killed, if their blood or the body fluids is been spread over there, if the person who are coming in intact with that particular area, they will also be affected. So that is what the major thing. Okay. Then the poor sanitation over there. In many movies you could see the area of Congo and many other African countries, they are like kind of a very pathetic in situation. Okay, so that we have to focus. The sanitation have to be taken and the healthcare systems have to be taken into the consideration, so that we will be having what this we can control the outbreak and we can prevent even more further spread. Okay, then so this is what the major thing that we have to focus here. So when it have been happened and whenever there is a virus, we have to keep that in mind. First thing, like what is the agent, okay. So is it a viral disease or is it a fungal disease or something, that we have to see that. Okay, most probably the bacterial and the viral would be, and the parasite will be huge. Okay, and the second thing we have to keep that in mind, whether it have been happened earlier, what was the mechanisms that have been actually taken into the consideration, what were the mechanisms that we took already to control those outbreaks. Okay, and third one, preventive methods. Along with that, we have to curative methods we have to see. First thing, the thing is about like having what can be improved so that it will not be spread, and in further cases what is the reason so that it will not be becoming one more time. Okay, so if you see if the healthcare system and also the conflict zones and along with that the sanitation have been improved, then there is no issues. When there is no conflict zones, when there is stability, okay, my government will be working on the the government will be working on the government will be working on the people's healthcare and everything. Okay, there will be proper things, okay, that will be going on. Then okay, along with that, what we have to focus, how it has been transmitted, whether it is endemic, epidemic or pandemic, this we have to see. Okay, that we have to keep that in mind. And what is the reason why it is frequently occurring, and what kind of a virus are being involved in that. Okay, and you have to do the comparative study. When the COVID-19 pandemic was when the pandemic of COVID-19 was happening, we read about its history where the SARS have been taken into the consideration. So we read about SARS and we read about the control and the preventive mechanism of all those viruses. Okay, so same way, have ever like similar kind of virus have been came, or are we already know about those viruses or not, that we have to check. Okay, then the next one is about the diversification gains. So when we are having a diversification of the exports, okay, the markets, export markets especially, we will be having certain advantages. Okay, it is not only about the market, it is about like the stronger hold for the economy as well. Okay, that we will be seeing one by one. So this article majorly talked about three things. One is the diversification of the export helped India to get more economical gains. First thing, good evening Nancy. The second thing is about the service sector. Okay, the service sector is about like the improving service sector. Okay, the stability it shows, and it shows the opportunity for India to give more and more. Okay, even we will be having a great opportunity when it comes to the service sector. Okay, especially the IT sector. Okay, we will be seeing the risk also that have been involved here, which is the AI. So if there is AI being prominent, if I am able to filter out the data or any other things in a simple click, okay, with a simple formula. So if AI is taking about the IT sectors, then what we are going to do, because the major sector of India that is blooming since 2000 is this IT sector, right, and the software sector. So that we have to focus. If there is any challenges, we have to focus on that. Keeping the manual thing, okay, what is the advantage of it, how we can overcome the AI's dominance, all this we have to think. Okay, so that is one of a major component. And another one is about geopolitical affects of trade. Geopolitical, which we have already talked multiple times, which is West Asian conflict along with the Russia and Ukraine war. Okay, so this is a major thing that we are going to cover in this article. Okay, moving on. Okay, India's export performance, okay, in 2026, especially in April, it have been boomed. Okay, so there is a positive notion. And the second thing is about diversification of export markets, okay, and the resilience in supply chains and the role of services. Okay, so the good thing about here is we are expanding our markets. We have started exporting things to 29 more countries, like even the new countries have been added to our exporting market. So we will be having the products will be distributed globally. We will be getting the recognition for the products, the markets, and along with that we will be having the dollars, okay, the international currency, so that our current account deficit will be balanced, the balance of payment also will be balanced. Along with that we will be having a strong currency, that is Indian rupee. So okay, so this is how it is going to apply in Indian economy. So the resilience in supply chains. So when you have a proper supply chain, okay, undistributed, okay, undisturbed, okay, when there is a calm and a well proper, well structured supply chain, there will be a smooth functioning of your trade, first thing. So there will be continuous logistics movement, and the second thing is about there will be reliability, okay. And along with that you could expand even more exports when you have a good supply chain. Okay, and along with that you will be having a greater economical opportunities. If one particular supply chain has been strong, then you can add multiple supply chains, you can focus on another supply chains, because you will be learning from the stable supply chains, right. So now if you see here, we are more on what, exporting, and we are more on self economy resilience. Okay, so for economy we are not going to depend upon foreign direct investment or something. Instead we are going to make new products, the Make in India and Atmanirbhar things. Okay, through that we are going to showcase our products. Along with that we are going to make the Indian currency or the Indian economy very strong globally. Okay, so that is a major thing. The positive role of services that we have to see here, because this services, okay, especially software and IT services, that has been a backbone of Indian economy since 2000. Okay, so the dollars and also the forex that we generally earn, that is in the huge amount that contributed by this service sector, that we have to keep in mind. Okay, so the major highlights from this article is, okay, the merchandise export. Okay, so the merchandise export is generally grew nearly 14%. Merchandise export is nothing but a product has been produced or manufactured in one area and it has been exported to another area. Okay, so that is what the merchandise export. So in that India have grew like nearly 14%. That is a good one. And now we are focusing on non-oil exports growth. Generally we will not be going through this non-oil exports, but right now to diversify and to see the other areas where we are growing. So this non-oil exports, generally we refine the oil, crude oil, we purchase in a bulk from Iran and everywhere, and we will be refining it, and the refined products will be exported, right, generally. Now the non-oil exports also have been a growth sector. Okay, there is a growth in these sectors. Then more markets, as I have told you, like even many countries have been added in these days. Okay, and the services export, that we have talked about the IT services and the software sectors, they are doing a very great job. The risk again is about the artificial intelligence and the robotics and also the automation mechanisms, though that is the risk majorly for our growth in the service sectors. Okay, so what right now India have to keeping all these positives, what India can do even in a better way, so that we will be getting what we will be getting a even more smooth and a calmer like smooth and calmer functioning. For that, India has to focus on certain things. One is cost competitiveness, okay? Cost competitiveness and the product quality, and along with the production scale. So if I am producing one particular good, okay, which is 10,000, okay, if I am producing 10,000 units, okay, and I have a good demand in the market, so I have to increase my scale. But considering India's manufacturing sector and MSMEs on also many other things, if we look into it, okay, manufacturing sector is somewhere in a down phase, right? First thing. Second thing, even in the last week, two weeks before, we have see that, right, there is a slowdown in the growth in when it comes to the 8 core industries. So all these manufacturing industries are still in a settled way, right? And along with that, if you see MSMEs, so MSMEs are very small and they are fragmented. So the coordination along with them cannot, right now the situation of the MSME cannot be giving a huge production scale. So that we have to focus on the production scale, the number of products or the quantity of the products have to be increased. So India has to focus on these areas, okay, the cost competitiveness, like the production cost and also the selling cost, okay, so that has to be managed and that has to be justified, okay. And the third one is about the product quality, where if I am spending 1 penny, okay, even 1 rupee for a one particular chocolate, that 1 rupee have to be justified with its quality. If you see Chinese products quality, okay, there is a common seeing, right? So when it comes to Chinese products, it is no longer like they don't have lot of lifespan. That is one thing. And second thing is about, okay, they will be mostly of a copy of some product, okay, genuine products का copy ही होता है हमेशा, मतलब most of the time when it comes to the Chinese product. So to not to get that kind of a impact or impression, we have to focus on what, the product quality, the inputs that we are taking, okay. If there is a chocolate, okay, for example, if there is a chocolate, the cocoa that we are selecting, okay, the mechanisms, the complete equipped factories, okay, the clean factories, and also along with the clean factories, the members, the employees have to be having the proper equipments and everything, right, the life saving equipments, the fire exit, okay, along with that gloves, head caps and everything. So all these things are we have to focus, particularly whatever the thing that will be included in your quality, okay. So that is a major thing. And now if you see India's diversification, we have talked about the extended markets, right. So now if you see here, one of the example that have been quoted here is handloom to 29 more countries, okay. So where we are expanding our market, we will be having we will be able to secure more and more what, the forex, okay. Then the reduced risk, because we are booming in one particular sector, so the economy will be somehow or the other managed, okay. And the expanded market and also the economic resilience, so we are going to make more money out of our indigenous products and also the like in-house products, okay. Then the second one is about the service sector, okay, where in 2014 it was 39% and now if you say it is 49%. So there is a growth of 10% in 10 years of gap, okay, in a decade. Then the risk that we have discussed about the AI excuse me, that have been mentioned, and along with that geopolitical crisis, where because of this geopolitical crisis, what happens, the export will be reduced. Why? It is because there will be import will be less. Everybody, see, likewise India, every other country will be focusing on what, securing their financial things, right. So if India is trying to in India the gold imports are high, so I have to pay more, right, in the dollars. So to secure my dollar expenses, what I will be doing, I will be asking my people to please you kindly reduce the purchase of gold, right, which our prime minister also have already told. That is one of the mechanism. So like that, if there is any global crisis and if I am going with any global conflicts, okay, immediately what I will be doing, I will be securing my forex, first thing. Second thing, I will be trying to minimize my expenditure, which is majorly happens in the imports. If I am importing some products, okay, I'll be having to pay, okay, I wanted to pay huge amount out, so I will be minimizing my imports, right. And third one is about how much ever I could able to make my economy and the market strong, whichever like if I want if I am having very less economy, okay, what I will be doing, I will be exporting and I will getting the other countries currency or the dollars, right. So that is what the major thing. So because of the geopolitical, the closed economy, the minimal economy, because of that what we are getting, the reduced exports and imports. So when people are not getting the products, when they are not open to the products, then I cannot जबरदस्ती में export तो नहीं कर सकते, I cannot forcefully export the things, first thing. Second thing, imports will be very less when it comes to global conflicts, because I have to secure my money, second thing, okay. And the third one, the next one is about the increased fuel uncertainty. So whenever there is a export, there will be no problem, Pradeep, okay. So whenever there is a export, okay, I'll be shipping it, or else I'll be transing it through the air, like via air, right, like which is the cargo through aeroplanes. So the fuel cost is high because the Strait of Hormuz is the major area where the fuel is being transported. If there is a conflict there, that is directly hitting on the prices of the fuel. So the shipping and also the cargo through the air, this have been increased, so that the increased fuel uncertainty will be pushing me towards a less export, right. Then the next one is about the increased gold imports, which we have talked about. So see, if there is any problem, if there is any global issues, initially the markets will go down, people will be starting saving in the gold, okay. So the gold will be imported more, okay. So the increased gold import, what will be happening in Indian cases, we don't have much gold reserves, so we actually import from other countries, so that the import duties have to be increased, so that people will not be buying the gold in a larger way. That is one of the mechanism what government does, okay. So here the increase of the gold imports, more I import, more I have to pay. So my money is going out, or the dollars are being going out. The if my dollars, okay, if my dollars is going out, okay, because of the gold import, I'll be having the impact of what? The current account deficit will be there. Along with that, my forex reserve will be keep on going down, and I will not be having the balance of payments, ठीक है. The BOP will be hugely impacted, ठीक है. समझ आ रहा है यहाँ पर, ठीक है. If what if I am paying with my Indian rupee, so the more Indian rupee is available in the market, my currency value will go down. So because of that, I will be having a huge inflation outbreak. So my money will become cheaper, all the products will be becoming costlier for me, okay. So that will be a huge fall down for an economy. So this is the impact that actually happens when you are spending more and more of your forex reserves. So that you have to keep that in mind, okay. So the next one is about the created external sectors pressure. So this external sector pressures, that will be giving you a pressure on controlling your Indian like in your economy. Generally in the Indian perspective, Indian economy have to be controlled. We have to be very cautious about where we are investing our money, where we are spending our money, and where we have to save. So that will be happening a closed or a controlled economy. Your monetary policy will be like very rigid at that time, okay. So that is what the major thing about this, okay. So moving on, along with that, or non-oil exports have been increased to 9%, where the manufacturing competitiveness we are able to see here. Okay, so there are some good spikes in the manufacturing sector, the higher spikes. Okay, then the industrial growth that we are able to see, the trade stability. We don't want to depend upon one particular product or one particular services, and keep that in our mind. I forgot to tell you, like when it comes to this merchandise export, the merchandise export always will be focusing only on the goods, not on the services. That you have to keep it in mind. Coming back, okay. So here the trade stability will be there, because if you are manufacturing something, you will not be depend upon one particular product or one particular thing. Okay, so you will be having a different products to export or to acquire the market of another. Okay, the gold import increased to the 89%, which is causing a huge downfall for the economy. So please listen to PM's advice, and please do buy gold or purchase gold, okay, when it is only essential. Two types of gold will be purchased. One is about for the investment purposes, like sovereign gold bonds and also the biscuits. Okay, that is only for this investments. Okay, and when it comes to the ornamental things, there it will be like the huge burden will be on the consumers. Okay, so the more I have to import when there is a lot of demand for the jewelry, ornaments and everything. So that we have to focus here. And one advantage that have been mentioned is FTAs. So through FTAs that recently that India have been signed, like be it EU or France and everything. Okay, along with that, okay, so these are giving the more and larger exports, and also we will be paying very less export duties. So we will be acquiring the market, as well as we will be paying very less custom duties, that is export duties. So we will be giving upon very lesser money. So that is one of the advantage that have been mentioned. Okay, so just read one of a good article, okay, where different dimensions have been discussed. Just be sure about the nearby values of the growth. Okay, if there is any figures like 9%, 32% and 82%, please keep that in mind. This have to be, this you can use it in your exam paper. Okay, ma'am, online BA degree is valid for UPSC. Obviously, okay, if you are taking any distance education or online education through a valid, okay, UGC approved institutions, that is valid for not only UPSC, for any other government jobs. Okay, clear? Then moving on to the next one is about one horse races or no time for democracy. Here they are referring to, like, one horse is about when there is no proper opposition. Okay, if there is any sport, okay, if there is like IPL is going on, so let's take the instance of IPL. Okay, now Punjab is doing really good, so Punjab, and also when it comes to RCB, CSK, whomsoever it is, Delhi Capitals, whomsoever it is. Okay, so in the middle of the match, when you're in the tip of your seat, and if you're like biting your nails for the, like, whether they can win or not, when it is happening, the opposition team is too good. Okay, if the batsman, the Punjab or any one particular team have scored very well, it will be very interesting when the opposition team is also very strong. Okay, the chasing power, so that will be making what the competition, the sports very interesting, right? So the same essence have been used here. So here he have compared the democracy with two different things. One is the business and another one is the sport. So that's why I took the IPL example. Okay, so when it comes to the IPL, which we have talked about, when the opposition is strong, the match will be very interesting. So the same thing he is under like telling that if there is no proper opposition, if there is no stronger opposition, and if there is only one particular party is very dominant and strong, there is no scope for democracy ultimately, because when it comes to Indian constitution, sorry, in Indian values, okay, especially in the representation of People's Act in 1951, it have been clearly mentioned, if there is no valid opposition and one particular party is very dominant, then they can make the government there. Okay, so when the things will be very like when the things will be very active and very interesting when there is a opposition party. So that is what the whole article is talking about. Okay, we will be decoding it one by one. One is healthy political. So for the democracy, people should be having the choices. They should be having a alternative. The strong alternatives should be there. So that's how the democracy will be having a good spirit. Okay, so we will be seeing one by one. One is healthy political competition will be the essence of whom? The democracy. Okay, then the democracy is meaningful only when elections are genuinely competitive. So elections are genuinely competitive. It is like there should be free and fair elections. I should be having multiple options to choose, and also the election conduction agent or my election conduction body should be free, fair and neutral. Okay, so these are the things that they are mentioning here. Okay, democracy in India very poor, I think. What do you think, ma'am? So Mr. Pradeep, India having a very huge democracy. Democracy is not poor in India, but the thing is about the competition that we have right now. If you see one particular party, okay, in India right now it is very dominant, and other opposition parties are not much competent. It is not having a strong hold in the India. So that is the thing. See, everywhere it is a loophole. We will be having a loophole. One among them is the democracy has, like, we are provided with lot of universal adult franchise, which is voting rights, right? But still the problem is, like, if I have 3-4 fruits, okay, if you give me 3-4 fruits, I can choose one the best I love it, right? So if you give me only one fruit and you ask me to choose it, okay, or else if you giving very minimal options and you are asking me to choose it, it will be obviously I will be forced to take only one, right? So that is what the problem India is facing right now. The alternatives, the choices, the opposite things, okay, that is not actually happening. So that is why our democracy seems to be little needs improvement. It is not poor in India. Please, Pradeep Kumar, and I am telling you personally, if you are doing, like, if you are writing for like UPSC, if you are preparing for UPSC, please take this mindset from your mind. Okay, just look for the opportunities, just look for the positiveness that where we can improve and we can work upon. Okay, democracy is one of a strong thing in India that we have to keep that in mind. So if you are setting your mind for that poor democracy, that will indirectly or directly that will be reflecting on your paper. So okay, don't keep that, don't try to acquire those kind of things. Instead, just write answer, or instead if you start thinking like that, India is having a very good opportunities, but we have to focus on certain things that you have to keep in mind. Okay, then if there is no genuine competition, it will be like one horse races only. Okay, so see, the Pradeep Kumar, that is what I am trying to tell you. Like, when there is opportunities, we would be able to see different things. But when there is only one thing, obviously it will seem like the autocracy or the like the king. Okay, then when the democracy will becomes healthy only when there is a fair competition, equal opportunities, and the neutral institutions, where we talked about the Election Commission of India, the judiciary, and everyone. Okay, so here they have given the example of whom, the West Bengal also, where the larger number of voters have been deleted through SIR, electoral process, right? We all know the RPA, the People's Representation of People Act 1950 give the free hand to Election Commission so that they can revise the electoral rolls and they can conduct the free and fair elections, right? So this is what the thing, but in a larger margin the voters have been deleted, but still what happens, the victory have been happened, but the margin for the victory is very less. When there is a minimal participation and a huge victory, that doesn't give the essence of proper democracy. That is have been explained with this West Bengal like West Bengal example. Okay, when it comes to the competition is the hemoglobin, oh my bad. Okay, when it comes to the competition is the hemoglobin, it says that the competition should be requires the alternatives, okay, the stronger oppositions, fair elections, and also possibility of change in power. If I fell, if my people feel that this particularly like the recent government that have been formed, if there is no confidence on that, I don't believe, my people didn't believe that there is a positive outcome from this government, obviously they should be having the possibility of changing the power. It should not be like one particular dominant party have been victed and they have been they have formed the government, and that particular government is not doing the good thing, and when there is a opposition is very weak, where will I go, right? So that is what the major thing they have discussed here. Democracy demands not merely elections but also meaningful and fair competition. Competition here is about the alternatives and the choices for people to vote and elect. Okay? Then the next one is about if there is no proper competition, if not ruling party dominates, okay, the accountability will be declining. Nobody is there to question them in the parliament, okay, when there is no confidence motion have been provided, or if there is no question have been aroused, okay, for passing a bill, if it is a destructive passing a bill, okay. For example, if MPs are, okay, the government, the executive people, right. So if they are cabinet people are asking for higher salaries and the remunerations, okay. So there comes, like, if they are like able to pass the bill very easily with no proper strong opposition, with the majority, the ruling party will be passing that bill and they will be getting the money into their pockets only majorly, right. But if there is a strong opposition, if there is strong majority also, we would be able to see, like, there will be a check. Unnecessarily the money should not be going into somebody's private pocket, right. So that we can have a challenge, then we can have a question over there. So it is saying that if the ruling party dominates, the accountability will be declining and it will be weakening the institution. So whatever the favorable laws or the enactments, that will be easily achievable for those dominant ruling party. Okay? Then the third one is about the important legal point here is unopposed elections technically will be, okay, considered as a they will be considered for forming the government if there is BJP alone is having a vital, like, there is no proper opposition, there is no one to oppose, okay, only BJP is there in the elections, then obviously technically BJP will be forming the government. Under what? The Representation of People Act 1951, especially section 53 subclause of 3 will be giving this provision, where even, okay, if I want already one particular government is ruling, okay, and in the next election I want to change, okay, if there is no there is no opposition, okay, it's going like a GS class, I'm really sorry, but anyhow we have to do it, right. So the essence of current affairs class is what? Ultimately you would be able to clear the, like, questions in the UPSC, right. So it is okay sometimes to touch the static part also, okay. So technically the legal things will be killing the democracy, because if there is no opportunity for me, like, I have to choose, right. The democracy is basically about opting for the best, which I failed. When there is no opportunities and there is no options for me, ultimately the one particular thing which is strong and dominant, it is coming into the action and I have no role in that. So the democracy spirit will be completely eroded there, okay. So that is a major thing. And the fourth one is about the neutral election, where we talked about the election have to be free and fair, the equal opportunities have to be provided, the equal competition should be there. There should be multiple parties have to be involved in the election and they will be having a competition among them. Then the neutral authorities, the institutions that we are talking about, the judiciary and the Election Commission of India, which we have talked, right. So the Election Commission of India should not be biased, they should be given the free hand to the parties, like if one party is given the campaigning timing and also the campaigning spaces, and also if they are looking for the their property and the wealth count and everything, so this should be equal to everyone, the treatment should be equal and fair to all the parties, okay. It should not be biased towards the ruling party. So that is what they are telling. And now huge removal through SIR that we have discussed about the West Bengal example, right. So here the victory margin is very less. Okay, there very fewer amount of the what the votes have been differed between the lost contestant and also the victored contestant. Okay, so because of this very shorter victory margin shows that there is a huge number of there is no proper competition over there. Okay, so the public confidence will be going down when there is if my one representative have been victored with a huge amount of votes, that shows that candidate is very prominent and efficient. So that confidence with a huge trust the people have chosen, so they will be working properly, that confidence will be there with the public. When there is very less margin of the victory, this will be morally, it will be downing the people with the confidence of the government. Okay, so that is one of a major issue. On ECI, one is neutrality, they have to be containing, and also the transparency, accountability. So here it is about they have a criticism also, they have given the criticism on Election Commission of India. There is very little biasness is there coming to the ruling party, and also the transparency is very less when it comes to the SIR process. Okay, because majorly this the deleted voters are big, they are unidentified, we are not able to track them, and this is what the major thing that have been said, and the voters are largely removed without any proper data. Okay, so that is what the major issue. So the transparency have to be carried upon, and also the accountability. If one particular voter has been deleted, okay, and the duplicacy has been there, or else mistakenly if any of the voter have been deleted, they have to given with what the opportunity to revise their list, to add back in the list, so that accountability have to be taken by the ECI, where in the recent elections in the West Bengal we are able to see the accountability of ECI is very less. Okay. Then the one nation one election, on that also they have given the criticism, where if there is one nation one election, that will also be diluting the democracy, like how one is centralization may weaken regional voices. When there is one election, okay, majorly it will be like one dominant party is contesting the elections. So again it will be like only one contestant will be there, and there will be no proper opportunities for the regional people, right? So that is what the major thing is. Strong centralization may weaken regional voices. Second thing is about accountability, okay, and the third one is about the simultaneous election and reduce the competition. So again coming back to that, the simultaneous election will be having it will be always a one dominant party, okay, it will be reducing the competitiveness in the election. Okay, so clear till now? Shall we move to the next one? Okay, here the major thing is opposition Mukt Bharat, where when there is no proper competition, or if there is any biasness towards one particular party, it will be the opposition will be completely destroyed, they will be completely erased. So it will be opposition Mukt Bharat is with Bharat with no opposition at all, okay, completely one particular government will be there. So that is what the thing is. So they have described it like high participation and low competition is not true democracy. There should be high participation and there should be a high competition. The margin have to be very high when it comes to the victory. So that is the spirit of democracy that they are trying to say. Okay, clear? Shall we move to the next one? The next one is about, okay, the Oslo summit. Okay, India's northward turn. Okay, so the Oslo summit is basically about, we are going to have the discussion with the relations along with the Nordic and the Arctic region. The Nordic countries that we have already discussed, which is Norway, Sweden, Greenland, Iceland, Finland and everyone, Denmark and everyone, right? So here the Arctic region is about the Greenland, okay. So if you see the importance of these two particular area, one is Nordic and the Arctic. So there are some strategic importance in this two area. So if you see the importance here, first thing is India's partnership with Nordic countries transformed from climate and technology oriented to what? The geopolitical, economic and also maritime and strategic partnership. in the second article that we, the first article, the Norway visit by PM, there also we have discussed, right. So where we are discussing about the strategic partnership, the maritime security also along with the geopolitics and also the economy. So we are going to see one by one. First thing is about for the strategic partnership which is supporting, one is NATO expansion, where we have talked about the Norway and Sweden have been recently joined, and it is creating the issue of what the expansion of NATO is creating the chances of the conflict area when it comes to the access of Russia, right. So that is a major thing. Russia may be offended and Russia may be working towards like by the name of securing their maritime, and also by tightening their security they might be having a conflict. So that is a major thing. Okay. And the second thing is about the Ukraine war, and third one is Arctic competition. People are rushing towards Arctic for the resources there, okay, the oil, the natural gas, and also rare earth materials, okay, and the critical minerals. For all these things people are rushing towards Arctic. And if you see the Arctic placement, I will show you. Okay. So exploring Arctic, and along with that if you go for Arctic region, okay, okay, if you see here, are you able to see? Okay, if you see here the Arctic region, so this completely having the frozen area will be completely having what? They will be having the oil and the natural gases. Along with that they will be having a greater like trade routes, okay, if we break the ice, okay, and along with that if we able to form a supply chain, or if we are able to find a route, it will be like lowering our shipment costs, and also we will be having a alternative supply chain route, where initially it was only Strait of Hormuz, we are paying huge on it, but when we are having alternative region, the route, we will be having a greater opportunity. Clear? Then if you see why it is Nordic, if you are able to see, they are in the northern spaces, right. So one is like here Greenland, okay, and Norway, Sweden, Finland, all these are in the Iceland or in the northern area. So it is called the Nordic countries. Okay. Now moving on, let's come back to this. So exploring Arctic region and having ties with Nordic countries will be having provided with a larger opportunities. Okay. So the Arctic competition and also energy security, where we have talked about, we can go for further like diversification in the energy flow. Okay. So right now this article is saying that, okay, India should be focusing on keeping all those opportunities and the talks. Okay, India should focus on certain things. First one is the deep and strategic relations. Okay, so from climate and technology, now we have moved to different sectors like maritime security, where the undersea cable, okay, and also the submarine technology are well versed there. Okay, so that is one thing. And second thing is about the engagement in Arctic geopolitics, where not only the presence of Russia there, okay, and also the evacuation, the exploration of the resources there, it is creating more and more competition there. And also the trade route that I have told you, the energy route that I have told you, if we are able to, India is able to build even more and more icebreaker ships, this will be giving a larger opportunity for India. Okay, so that we don't want to depend upon any particular shipping to break the ice and to go for shipment. Instead, we can go with our own icebreaker ships and we can bring the things back to India, right? So that is one of the things. Then secure energy and trade routes and technological partnership, where we are talking about the silicon, rare earth materials, okay, critical minerals and the semiconductor things. Okay, so the greener energy, the hydrogen technology, all these we are going to learn from these things. So these people, so that is what the technological partnership we are going to focus on. Then the maritime connectivity. Okay, along with that, one particular thing that we have to focus here is Himalayas. If you see why Himalayas here, what is the connection between Arctic and Himalayas? See, the thing is like Arctic condition that will be affecting on India's monsoon and also India's climate. Okay? So when it comes to Himalayas, if there is, we can understand the study by through a study. We would be able to understand the Himalayas when we are researching on the Arctic circle as well. Okay? So when there is a Arctic circle, okay, the ice, the depth of the ice, the organisms present there and the melting of those ice, all these will be helping us in the study of Himalayas as well, because there is a relativity between Arctic region and also the Himalayas. So the depreciating the ice, okay, the melting of ice, one thing, the rise of sea level and also the hit of the monsoon when it comes to India's monsoon rainfall and all these things which will be affecting on our agriculture and the food security. It is important for us to learn from this article, Arctic Circle. Shivani, if you want to talk, we can talk post the session, right? Okay? So right now we have to focus here. Okay? We will talk later. Okay? You can reach out through us in the Telegram channel. You are open there to talk, right? So if you have any issues, please let me know there. I will talk to you. Okay? Now, moving on. The Nordic countries that we have discussed, the importance of Arctic, which we have already discussed, just have a quick glance here. So one is here strategic competition, where the military rivalry between the Russia and everything we have told because of the expansion of NATO. And first, the next one is about the shipping route. If there is low shipping cost, okay, if a new sea route have been if there is new international sea route have been found, okay, here we would be able to see what the shipping cost will be less, because see, through breaking the ice we would be able to find a smaller route. So if there is a smaller route, we have to spend lesser fuel, so lesser fuel cost, right? So that is what we are talking about, and there will be better logistics, larger logistics will be like transmitted, and also the energy resources, where the oil, natural gas, fisheries also we will be having. If you see the salmon fishes and certain fishes, okay, we would be able to like get it fresh and in a larger way. We would be able to identify those fisheries which will be fishes or species that will be like that can grow in Indian Ocean also. Then we can create a proper fishery culture also, so that the fisherman problem also somewhere or the other can be reduced, because if we are bringing the fisheries the species from there to India, okay, to that particular area, we will be there will be flourishing in the fishery department, and also we will be having lot of protein to intake, and otherwise our fishermen also will be happy and they will be safe also. Okay? When it comes to the international borders, okay, then the rare earth materials also we are going to get it from whom? The Nordic areas, okay, the critical minerals also. So other than that, what is the concern here is about, okay, the security structure change, where we have talked about what the NATO expansion, where every people like Norway, Sweden, even Russia will be forcing to have a strict security, okay. Then and also the importance of Nordic countries. So in the Arctic we have seen, and also when it comes to the importance of Nordic countries, one is technology. We have a great technology when it comes to Denmark and also the Sweden. Okay? And along with that we will be having the investment program, and we will be having a innovation support when it comes to moving towards the hydrogen energy and also the technology for the greener energy. We will be getting the innovation support. And the critical minerals, again the presence of iron ore, okay, and the glaciers study, and also along with that we are going to we will be having certain minerals as well. Okay. Then the maritime security that we have talked about, one is the importance of submarines, okay, how we are going to break the ISIS and everything, okay, the surveillance, and along with that we will be having under cable operations as well. Okay. And so along with that, one last topic is Arctic Council. So here they have emphasized the Arctic Council's presence also for India, okay, where we will be having the capable ships. Through engaging with Arctic Circle, we will be having capable ships to icebreakers, okay, and the NV Arctic affairs. So if you see India's presence in Arctic area, it is very less comparative to other developed countries and other things, okay. Power is important thing in sea route. I'll come to that, okay. So the Arctic affairs, so India's embassy is having, and Arctic, in the Arctic region, India's presence is very limited, very less, so that we have to strengthen the presence in Arctic region, okay. India Arctic Economic Forum, this we have to focus, so that we will be having the resources enrichment. Then the study of Himalaya that we have talked about, right, the relevances between the Himalayas and also that. So Chennai Vladivostok maritime, so here this is a collaboration between India and Russia, so that we will be having like the real time study about the maritime security, and also the like study about the complete maritime, the organisms, or else the resources, or else the maritime security and everything, right. So that is what the major thing. So we will be balancing the Arctic, and along with that we will be balancing whom, the Russia, okay. So this is what important from this article. Please do read about the article, okay. Skim through, or else just read through the lines, okay. Here in UPSC it is have become very important for reading through the lines also, between the lines. If it is not about only the articles that have been printed, along with that you have to interconnect it with indirectly mentioned things, okay. So that is with the day. We are just going to wind up right now. So for the doubts, power is important thing in sea route. See, power here, it will be in a different section, where your dominance there, your presence there, along with that the collaboration, the cooperation along with the bordering countries, it is very important in the sea route, where you will be having the security. When it comes to Arabian Sea, there is a lot of piracy, right. So when why we are going with a lot of maritime exercises and military exercises along with the naval exercises when it comes to Mauritius, to counter those piracy in the Arabian Sea area, right. So power is more important. Power here refers to your naval and also your trade, okay, trade things, okay. MCQs, okay, MCQs here is about, okay, for Ebola, I'll ask you the question, okay, I'll write down the question here, okay. Just a simple one MCQ, okay. Is it visible for you all? Okay, statement 1, okay. Ebola transmits through only transmits through bodily fluids, okay. Second one, it transmits, if there is note, can I write it over there, because we have the concern of space, okay. Let's solve this one MCQ for time being, okay. One, consider the following statements, and also okay, consider the following statements and give me the answer, ठीक है, which is right, ठीक है. First one is about Ebola. Ebola transmits through bodily fluids. This is statement 1, and second statement would be Ebola have been identified as have been announced as pandemic okay. Then the third one is about Ebola is a viral disease but not fatal disease, but not fatal, ठीक है. So considering these three, okay, not reviewing political issue. Why are we not reviewing political issues? I will come to that, ठीक है. So considering these three statements, okay, tell me the answer. Which of the following statements are right, ठीक है. Option 1, option A, which is 1 and 2 only. Option B, ठीक है, 1 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only, okay, and option D, all of the above. So tell me the answer. I expect answer from Venkatatri. Can you please answer me? Okay. Meanwhile, okay, 1 only. Okay, how it is 1 only? Because Ebola transmits through bodily fluids, which we talked about, the blood, vomit, saliva, sweat, and also the semen, right? That is true. So when it comes to the second one, Ebola have been announced as a pandemic, that this we have discussed. Shainu, it is not B. I'll come to you, okay? Right. So the Ebola have not been identified as a pandemic, okay? So that is why WHO have not identified it as a, announced it as a pandemic, and it have told that please don't close the international borders. Okay, if you have followed the session, you would have been got that. Okay, the third one is about, so eventually it is wrong. Okay, the third one is about Ebola as a viral disease, where till here it is correct, but not fatal. Actually it is fatal. When we are not giving the proper treatment, there is a huge loss of life. So fatal is nothing but loss of life only. Okay, so death actually, so it will cause death. So here this statement, this part of the statement is wrong. So that is why the 3 is also wrong. So the answer is 1 only. Okay, sorry, option B, 1 only. Okay, yeah, good. Shainu, that is right. Okay. Okay, I hope everything is good. And why we are not focusing on the political issues? Because political issues are not part of UPSC syllabus, first thing. And second thing, there will be always an argument and a counter argument. So when it comes to the political issues and the political news, it will be biased one. It is about one perspective of a person, right? It is not a collective perspective, or it is not a collective issue. Okay, instead it is like kind of a one particular, it's a private issue kind of a thing. So that is why we are not going into the political issues. Okay, these are the things why we are not going into political, but rather than the static part when it comes to Rahul Gandhi's tweet and everything, when it comes to the opposition, leader of opposition's position and everything. Why don't we have separate class on political issues? I'll try my best. Let's see. Okay. Neil Chandra, that is also right. Okay. Anyhow, thank you so much. Thank you for joining the session. Hope the articles are very clear. If you have any doubt, please let us know. And Shivani, please connect through us through the Telegram channel. You can scan this Telegram channel QR code and you can reach out to us. Okay, you can scan this QR code. Okay, thank you Rishidharan, and thank you so much Venkatri and Neil Chandra Mishra for your active participation. Okay, thank you so much. All the very best. Have a good evening.